Hello, everyone, and welcome to this video. And we're going to continue looking at wrestling programs. And this episode, this video, we're going to look at Georgia Championship Wrestling. And we're looking right now at the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, while he was the World Heavyweight Champion. Jack, what did you think about Dusty Rhodes as the heavyweight champion?
I thought he was the heavyweight champion the perfect amount of time, just enough to get him over and move on to, him being the challenger again. He was always best when he was chasing.
Rodney?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Of course, we were there. We were there the night he won from Harley Race. If that's the program where he beat Harley Race after that, is it, Brent?
I think it is, yes.
Atlanta. Yeah, that was an awesome night. Actually, it was actually a shock to us. But yeah, Dusty come off the top rope and that crossbody and hit Harley Race, and it was 1, 2, 3. That place went nuts.
All right, a lot of people they talk. We talk about promoter Paul Jones. A lot of people don't know who promoter Paul Jones is, so I'm going to show everybody. There is promoter Paul Jones. He was a professional wrestler for years. Am I in the right spot?
Yes, we can see.
There you see promoter Paul Jones. By the time we were around, he still come to the matches, and he would make matches and stuff. But as you see, and then you see Georgia Tag Team Champions at the time: Superfly Snuka and Terry Gordy, World Heavyweight Champion Dusty Rhodes, National TV Champion was unknown. Georgia Heavyweight Champion Tommy Rich, National Heavyweight Champion the Superstar. By the way, I've also contacted the people that made this program as well. They didn't ever get back with me, so I don't think that place is in business. I think that thing went out of business years ago. Also Freddie Miller.
Yep.
Freddie Miller.
And actually, Freddie Miller is the one that put together these programs.
Yeah, don't miss it. Be
there.
I always love that. I always think, okay, now. Y'all just have to see these first two pictures. It's Michael Hayes and it's Kevin Von Erich, and both of these. And this is way before the feud of Freebirds and stuff. But look at that picture there of them. And it was Michael Hayes, Kevin Von Erich. They look like they're doing something for the GQ magazine.
Yep. And Kevin has boots on.
On the bottom there, the Georgia Heavyweight Champion, Wildfire Tommy Rich. The Georgia Tag Team Champions, Jimmy Snuka and Terry Gordy. Ronnie, did you, and Jack, I want to ask you this question about, did y'all think that Terry Gordy and Jimmy Snuka was a good fit for tag team? Jack?
No, I found that quite odd. They were, after I think I had already left with the Army going to Germany, but I remember reading about them, and it just struck me as odd. And maybe that was because I was so used to Terry being with Michael, but just size-wise, the styles, I was very familiar with both of them styles. I thought I don't see how they complemented each other that well. Of course, then again, they were two great workers. So, I'm sure.
What about you, Rodney?
No,
I didn't ever like him as a tag.
It was like Mutt and Jeff. No, it didn't. It didn't. And the bottom line is, both of them should have been in singles. They were not. There was no need for them to be a team. They could have taken. They could have took somebody like Chick Donovan and put with Terry Gordy, because we talked about Chick earlier, and they would have been a good team.
Here is the other page of the program right there. It's got Harley Race, 6 times world champion.
Oh, there's the big cat.
The big cat, Ernie Ladd. Always liked Ernie Ladd.
Yeah.
Thought he was such a great wrestler. And then on the other side, Jack Lord's favorite wrestler of all time,
George Wells. I didn't know that George Wells your favorite wrestler.
Here, Jack's got a. Let me bring this up here.
Picture of Masked Superstar.
Always liked the Masked Superstar. I thought he was one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. To me, nobody could follow the Masked Superstar.
Well, there's only two men that I have an autographed picture of and I've got a lot that I've got pictures with, but only two that I've got pictures of, and that was Masked Superstar and Lou Thesz.
Yeah, Lou Thesz, legendary. All right, Richard Hood said Dusty Rhodes could pop a crowd. Yes, it could. Kevin Von Erich brought Michael Hayes the World Class Championship Wrestling after his run. Well, that's not easy for me to say in Georgia. Dan Lang said, when did the Briscoes buy into the Georgia ownership? By this time, they were the owners. I think they had, I think by 1975, 76, I believe they had already had, by the time that Jim Barnett got there. Jim Barnett, I think, is the one that, because, you know, basically they needed Jim Barnett to come in and talk all the TV stations and stuff and drop it. And we'll have to tell that whole story when we talk about the Ungunkel promotion. It was pretty brutal what happened. Bruno Sammartino Jr.
David.
I believe that's Ken Timms he's wrestling against, isn't it?
Zoom in. I can't really see. Yeah, it could be.
Look at that.
I believe you're right. Nick Patrick running the referee there.
Yeah.
And there we see Wrestling 2, I believe, body slamming Big John Studd, or it may be Rip Oliver. I'm not for sure.
Yeah, it looks like Big John Studd.
Like Studd, yeah.
Yeah, I actually got to wrestle some shows with David Sammartino. He was a really nice guy.
And then here's the Grove Park. If you want to get a good, evidently wanted to get a
good apartment.
Look at Nick Patrick. Look at his expression on the back of that one right there. Professor Sonoda. Is that how you say his name? Sonoda?
Yep.
He didn't wrestle for a long period of time, did he?
He was not in there very long, but he was in there for a while.
Him going against Steve-O. Steve-O was really good. I always liked Steve-O. And then at the back program, Wildfire, Tommy Rich. Fired up. That's what usually happened, a lot of silence.
Well, this is probably when he was starting to get a little bit of silence. But, you know, there for a while, all you had to do was he'd stick that head out of that door when it was time for his match, and, man, that building would go insane.
Richard, no, the Briscoes were they were part owners of that company. I know at least by 1978, 1977. They had ownership for a long period of time. They were just the ones that decided to sell in 1984. If you think about it, the Briscoes were very instrumental in two separate occasions where somebody got the bad end of the deal every time, Jim Barnett being one of them. And then right behind that, Ole Anderson. So when you look at the change of wrestling and the way the wrestling landscape went, I think the Briscoes, I think they hold a lot of stuff that happened in professional wrestling, especially in the 80s, because they're the ones that got Jim Barnett out, and then they're the ones that got Ole Anderson out as well. So they were not only shooters, but they were also businessmen that laughed all the way to the bank. With Vince McMahon. And by the way, the moment Jim Barnett got through out of the office and Ole Anderson got rid of him, he was working on all of them other people to get them to sell their percentage to Vince McMahon. So it was not a smart move on Ole Anderson's part. Do y'all agree with that?
Yeah. It was a terrible move. Absolutely terrible move.
If Jim Barnett would have stayed in power in Georgia Championship Wrestling, I think wrestling would have been a whole lot different. It could have been Jim Barnett running the world. But all right, folks, if you've enjoyed this, give us the big thumbs up, subscribe to the page, and go one step further, hit that notification bell, and it'll let you know every time we upload a video right here on Pro Wrestling Inside and Out. Thank you so much. We'll see you in the next video.